Welcome to the Rainey Leadership Podcast, where we do a deep dive into company culture. Rainey is a car dealership located throughout South Georgia, and we are striving to be the best car company by first being the best care company. And one way that we do that is by meeting every week and talking about company culture. Today's episode is a change of pace. We're going to be diving into how a book club has positively impacted our company and why it might impact yours. Today's episode, we will introduce to you our risk manager, Mike McPherson, or as we like to call him, $1 Million Mike. Let's dive in.
Hey, listen, it's great to be here this morning. I've been up all night. Spent 10 hours trying to convert 5 videos over to where we could show them this morning. They come in from different places in the country, and they were just all, in a different format or form. And I tell you, to be an old man and with a young spirit, it just really will challenge your energy levels, brother. But anyway, I feel great this morning. I'm glad to be here. I want to kick off our book club this morning by saying our book club has a history. And this history is very important. You know, so many times we don't think about what got us to where we are. But what got us to where we are right here this morning, it's a very valuable piece of information, and it needs to be recorded in our minds and on our hearts. And we need to understand that every day, yesterday is history. But we take something from yesterday and invest it in today. So we've been doing that, and I can go back 6 years, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. And I'm going to talk about Bob, a little bit about the family, a little bit about the mindset, a little bit about the energy and the passion, some of the tears and some of the joys and the laughter. And I'm going to talk about a little of all of that. But I just want to start today by saying, Bob, this is the greatest honor in my life for you to ask me to do this. And I've got over 1,400 and something pictures, Rainey pictures in my phone. That's Rainey pictures. And so no way I could put all those in the phone. So I went light on pictures and a little bit heavier on content, and I'm going to have some stories, and I've got some people that's going to speak that's a part of this book club. Even though they are absent in body, they are present right now in spirit. And I know they are this morning, right now. So you're going to see a few of those people that mean a lot to our company, and you're going to see what they think of our company as a result of the culture that we're building. And you know, we build culture brick by brick, stone by stone. It's just little by little, inch by inch. But cumulatively over time, you know, the results are incredible. They're tremendous. And so we've got a lot to be thankful for, I think, and I hope you'll leave here with a grateful spirit. You'll leave here with a motivated, inspired spirit, and you'll be wanting to be a part of the book clubs to come, and also a part of the great amplification of the message that will promote our culture through our book clubs very often, every day. So I want to start off, and I'm going to start off with some videos. I hope everything plays right this morning.
Hey, babies. This book is called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And this was given to me by a good friend named Bob Rainey in a great company called Rainey Used Cars that we are so fortunate to know and that we can't wait for you to meet. All of you at Rainey, we love you. We thank you. Book club's amazing. I wish I was still there every Wednesday, but as you can see, it's kind of hard to get there. But can't wait to get back, and one day, hopefully, these 2 little ones will be there. We love you.
Hi, Rainey team. This is Steve Levine from Ignite Consulting Partners, and I'm so thrilled to be talking to you today about the wonderful book club and then the efforts that you guys make. It's such a wonderful thing for your organization, and you can really tell it as I work with people throughout your organization. The spirit of servant leadership and caring for your customers and everything that Bob and the rest of the team does to make sure that everybody in the organization knows how important it is to serve your customers. So keep up the great work. It really is just a wonderful thing for your culture. And I look forward to talking to y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Hello, Rainey team. Thanks for having me at another book club, and thank you to Mike for the invitation of getting to participate. Always a lot of fun and always my pleasure every time I get to come. For those that may not know me, my name is Jason Gosnell. I'm with Buckeye Dealership Consulting. I've had the pleasure to work with the Rainey team now for almost 4 years. Coincidentally, I received a video about a week ago on the subject of leadership. And after kind of digesting it, I immediately thought of the book club and the time and investment that the Rainey team and Bob are putting into the subject of leadership. If I can, I'd like to read a quote from that, and I think it really resonates. The quote by Simon Sinek. And he said the following: "The best leaders I know are students of leadership. There's no such thing as an expert leader, just like there's no such thing as an expert parent. It just doesn't exist in the world. The most senior leaders are always reading articles, reading books, watching videos, and having conversations about leadership constantly. They're always in learning mode, honing their craft. Anyone that wants to be a leader, you must choose to be a student of the subject. And this is just like anything in life. If you want to be good at something, you have to be willing to put in the work to get better at your craft." Rainey team, the book club is a powerful thing. We are all just very fortunate to have Bob for not only the leader that he is, but allowing us to be classmates as he furthers his education and leadership. Thank you again for having me at another book club. It's always my pleasure every time I get to participate, and it's my pleasure to get to work with and serve the Rainey team. Have a great day.
Good morning, everyone. I think at this point it's pretty obvious I'm not going to make it this morning, but I did want to take a few minutes to express how grateful I am for the opportunity to be a part of this book club. I've been a part of the book club for right at 2 years now, and just thinking through some of the books that we've gone through and had the opportunity to learn from leadership, learn from people that I would consider friends, people that actually care about each of us. It's just amazing. Whether we were talking about learning how to fly high as a seagull, or how to be the greatest salesman in the world, or going from good to great, or how to win friends and influence people. We've covered a lot of great material. Books that I would dare to say that have been life-changing for me. Being part of this group has truly been life-changing for me. Some of the things that I've just picked up as we've gone through these different books and had the opportunity to learn from each other, to be taught, quite simply, is today matters. That I matter, that you matter, we all matter. But what we do with today is up to us. Someone can't just make these things happen for us. We actually have to do it. And being a part of this book club and being part of this community, as I would probably refer to it as, has really honestly helped me develop and become more of who I actually am, and less of who I'm not. But it's like with anything. You can get stuck in a rut. We go through things, we get up, we go to work, we come home, and it's over and over. But what we have to realize about that is that we're in the game. We're in today. Each and every one of us. We're playing the game. I know we've been talking about culture a lot lately, but whether that's culture at home, culture at work, no matter where you are, you're in the game. And that's why it's so important to remember that today matters. So being a part of this has helped me just really dive deeper into realizing that today matters. And what I do with it, the choices that I make today, will reflect on tomorrow. I just wanted to tell everyone thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be a part. Bob for organizing this and putting this all together. Mike, Tommy, Clark, Bennett, Thomas, just everyone there. Thank y'all very much. Grateful for each and every one of you. Y'all have a wonderful week.
Good morning, Rainey family. John here from MCMC and your Magaloop friends. Just here in the office, all by myself this morning, remembering that September 14th, 2022 was the first time I got to do book club. And what a day it was. We had a profound message, a profound story, and can't wait to be part of it once again. Certainly has impacted our organization as we now do something very similar. Not quite the same, doesn't have quite the same energy and the uptake that Rainey has, but there's always something to aspire to. So can't thank you guys enough for making me part of your journey, and looking forward to seeing everybody as soon as I can. All the love from Texas and book club. Keep it going. You're inspiring people every day, right? Get busy inspiring. That's what we love. Take care.
All right, there we go. Okay, so we have begun this study or this thought process of a book club. And this is the origin of this book club goes way back. And many of you were here, a few of you were here, and most of you were not here at that time. But December in 2017, I came to work with Mr. Bob Rainey. He invited me to join him on his mission, and I had no idea what all that mission would involve. But I will tell you, it is an adventure every day. It has its challenges, it has its opportunities, and it certainly has its benefits and blessings. And we are all so blessed because this man chose to invite us to go on a mission with him. So we are on a mission. And over time, we have clarified what that mission is. And we have clarified it, we have defined it, we have got it down to our hedgehog concept. That means this is the big idea that sort of governs what we do, what we think, and what we're going to become in the future. We all do know the mission. If you look at your paperwork I give you, there's a little three pages there. It's called the Rainey Inspirations. And if you look at the date, you'll see that, I think, on the second page of that. You'll see it goes all the way back. And we started this little newsletter, and Thomas, you probably remember it. But it was nothing like what we have today. We didn't have all the tools back then. We didn't have all the people back then. We didn't have all the skill level that we have now with technology and all. And all of that has evolved into what we have today. And it's not because nobody spoke up. It's because Bob spoke up. Bennett, Thomas, Clark, spoke up. The first time we met was in Bromwood. And we had a little room down there, a conference room. And I'll never forget that day, Bob, when we met around that big table that Bennett built. And it was quite a unique room. It was small with a huge table. And the one thing that we had around that table was lots of heart. I got pictures of that, but I won't show them today. But I'll just tell you, we had lots of heart. There was lots of passion. And there was a lot of fine-tuning that we did, looking at all the different things that were going on in our operations at that time. And, one of the first things that Bob introduced to us was when he would come in, he always had a story. And he's been listed as a master storyteller. And he tells great stories, good stories, inspiring stories, uplifting stories. I mean, if he don't build you up when he tells you a story, he's trying to make a serious point to help you improve on yourself and to be your better self, right? We all in the process of becoming our better selves. We don't want to be who we used to be. We are who we are, but we don't want to stay who we are. We want to grow. We want to develop. We want to mature. We want to get better and better at what we do. And there's some things that we do to assist that and to help that happen. And, I think about it every day about some of the things that really touched my heart when we started, Bob. And, when we started, we had sort of some chaos. And, everything's not always great, and it's not always gravy. Sometimes things are hard. They're difficult. They're hard to bear, especially if you're somebody that is working towards building something that will endure. And there's a book over here. Some of these books, a few of them are books that Bob mentioned through the days that we were reading or studying a book. But he'd mentioned those books. He didn't know it. I'd ordered those books, and I have all those books, and I've read them, Bob. Those books. I think if you read that list, I think there's 29 of them over there. And I've had the privilege of reading many of them in our book club, but I've also had the privilege because I wanted to know what Bob's mind was on these things. And I began to realize there was a pattern. But in the first couple of weeks, the end of January, or towards the end of December, we had a couple of people that left. I won't call names or say anything bad, but I'll just say had some people left. And I'm going to tell you, I seen a man with a big smile lose his smile. But it was short term. I seen a big man, had a big heart, big dream, and one day I couldn't take it no more. I said, Bob, I hope you remember this day. I said, will you meet me over in the conference room in Bromwood? And we went there, and I said, I'm here if you want to talk. I said, I noticed you've been down and sort of discouraged and depressed. And I said, I want to pray with you and talk to you. And we had prayer that day. And I said, this is my words, Bob. I got them wrote down. Bob said, he was looking, and he said, Mike, every time I think we're at the point where we're going to really take off, he said, something kills it. Remember that? And I said, Bob, that's not going to happen this time. We're going to change that. And, that was in my mind. Everybody has a trigger in your mind. Something triggers your mind. All of a sudden, you got this great amount of knowledge that comes into your mind, and you're thinking, what am I going to do with all that? How's that going to work out? What's going to happen next? And so, I was there, and then, I think about that same week or the next week after we had that time and that prayer meeting together, and I saw His Spirit started lifting. And so we eventually, I realized why His Spirit was lifting. Because a little bit later down the road, we bought 706 East Oglethorpe Boulevard, and then we bought the Kia building, then we bought the Brooks building, and we were just beginning to grow, and it was because something was changing. But I realized what was changing everything, because one day, after we'd bought the Kia building, I went over there to find out, if the building was up to snuff, if it's going to qualify, and if it meet all the requirements for insurance, and I went over there. I went all over that building, and I went up them stairs. I didn't know what might be up them stairs. Hidden attic, Somebody told me, Bob goes up there a lot. Why did he go up there? I thought for a long time about going up there, Bob, and I almost didn't. But I went up there and I found something. I found right up there by that window, over that main part of the office, I found that there was a chair sitting there in front of that window. And on a little stool, there was a book by Charles Stanley on faith. You remember the name of that book? Bob read that book. And he made a comment. He said, somebody told me, he said one day, he goes up there and he'll read that book and look out that window. Right, what he was doing, thinking, praying, studying, reading, learning, growing. Like John said, or Jason, we're all, he's not just a teacher, he's a student. And all of us are called to be, teachers in a way. We're teaching somebody, whether you want to be admitted or not. You're teaching somebody. And, in order to teach somebody and teach them well, you've got to study. You've got to learn, and you've got to commit yourself. And that's what Bob has done. He has committed himself to studying, reading and studying, learning, growing, being a leader among leaders, a teacher among pupils and disciples. And also, he is a person that continues to study himself, to better himself. I hope you'll know this. To build a great culture at Rainey's, we all have to believe in and act on this impulse. We are all lifelong learners. Lifelong learners. It's not time to quit. It's not time to stop. It's time to start and keep going. And every day's a new day, and every day's a day to start fresh. And, there's some things that we ought to do every day that we probably don't do. We get so in the habit of doing some things that are not the best things that we just don't want to remember the things that might help us to do better. So, I want to say that history does play a part. So I can go back and I can say, not only have we grown in properties and buildings and sales lots and departments and payroll and employees, our hearts have grown. Our hearts have grown. And, you don't want your heart to ever die. You want your heart to keep growing. And if your heart's not growing, enlarging, and that what I mean by that is taking in new things that makes life better, not only for yourself, but for others around you. And, I come up with this little saying, there's something in me for you, and there's something in you for others. And there is something in all of us for each other, right? I saw a movie the other day, and it was about a horseshoe. And Bob brought this up in one of our meetings one day. Remember the horseshoe? And he pointed out, and at the top it said united. And on both sides it says untiring, united, and unfinished. We know that there's things that we need to finish, and we're not going to get tired and quit too soon. We're going to keep on. But the key to all of it is to be united. And I saw this movie, and it was simply said, stronger together. And we are stronger together. So what brings us together? What pulls us? What's the cement that and the magnet that draws us? And I believe the reason that we are continuing to move forward and evolve as a company is because people are getting a larger heart, a bigger heart. You realize that there's something behind all this that is much bigger, much stronger, more powerful than any of us have ever imagined. What is the possibility that lies within us? What is the seed? If we don't have a seed, we can't grow something. If we can't grow something, we can't see the fruit from it. We won't see any outcome or results. We won't see something if something's not in us. So our book clubs have provided, all those books are the seeding of our culture. I believe that with all my heart. That is the seeding of all of our culture. Now, the first book that we studied was The Secret. And I'm going to tell you something about The Secret. That is the servant model and the serve model. And basically what the serve model is, it is a model for business. When Bob came up with the Secret book and said, we're going to read this book, they was 4 of us in that class. And we was in that little room in Broadwood. I hope you remember who they were. Yeah, I was there. Thomas was there, you were there, and we had one that was there most of the time. But we studied that book, and there was one more that come. He didn't want to come. It's sad sometimes people that are the top leaders in the company don't want to learn. They don't want to read. The worst thing you can do to yourself is not develop the habit of reading. Read. Read if you want to lead. Read if you want to lead and achieve. Read if you want to succeed. Read, lead, achieve, and succeed. And if we're going to do that as a company, we're going to learn these books. I mean, we study all kind of books. We got another book club called The Underground. And Thomas, he got that going, and that's just a small group in there, but it's growing. And it's deep. It's philosophical. I mean, it covers politics, economics. I mean, flat laying, dimensions, and romances. And I mean, we go on and on. I mean, there's a lot of things we learn, but they all trigger something in our mind. They are a spark that triggers our imagination. They make us think bigger than what we just are. These little small cells of ours, our brain has a capacity to take in so much. And the more you read and you study and you talk through it with other people, the more likely you're going to be able to recall it. And once you can recall something, you can do it, right? You can have, because culture is action.
We hope as you listen to this podcast, it'll motivate and challenge your team. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on the Rainey Leadership Podcast.